It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
What's going on, everybody? Before we jump into today's episode, I've got an exciting announcement to make. I have officially launched the Having It All swag shop. Yes, it is open for business. I got all sorts of super cool gear for you, from t-shirts to tank tops, hoodies, and sweatshirts for both men and women. They come in all different colors, and right now we've got 3 sweet designs for you. Now, I've partnered with Bonfire to bring you this store, which is very, very cool because they've got some top-notch quality clothing. Their customer service is outstanding, and their ordering process is super, super simple. You can go to MatthewBivens.com/swag to check out the store. What's really cool is that this store is arriving just in time for the holidays. So if you want to pick up a gift for somebody who you know who is living the Having It All lifestyle, you can do so. Or you can grab a couple pieces for yourself and let everybody know that you are living an abundant, loving life. So once again, go to MatthewBivens.com/swag, SWAG, and get your Having It All gear today. Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, beautiful people? I am so happy you're here hanging out with me for another episode of the podcast. We're going to have some fun today. We are. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling myself right now. And we're going to dig into something very cool, something I know is on your mind, and that's relationships. I believe that an extraordinary life is one where you have extraordinary relationships. And I'm talking about relationships with yourself, with other people, and with life. And so today, we're talking about that relationship with others. And I want to really help you to level up the most important relationships in your life. And so we're going to be digging into a concept called the 5 Love Languages, which is a book by a man named Gary Chapman. And I have dug into 5 love languages several times on this podcast. And this is going to be a cool one. I'm not just going to tell you what the love languages are, but I'm going to really talk about how Sarah and I use these love languages in our life, how we actually use them, and give you some like practical, on the ground, real ways for you to apply this stuff. Because it's one thing to read a book, it's another thing to apply it and live it. And again, I believe that an extraordinary life is one where you have extraordinary relationships. So I really want you to have the most powerful, awesome, amazing, abundant, loving relationships possible. And that's what we're going to talk about today. First, I want to share some magic because I am a magical man. I am, and you are magical as well. And I got magic like bursting at the seams. So I'm going to share with you a cool piece of magic. And when I'm complete with that, I invite you to pause the episode and think about some magic in your life. You know, where have you influenced yourself, others, or life in a powerful way? All right. So my magic happened all of last week, but it culminated last Sunday when I posted a 90% on my balance chart. You've heard me talk about my balance chart before. That is the number one tool that I use to really help me stay in integrity with myself. Yeah. It's a habit tool. It tracks my habits. It helps me to stay on point with all the different areas of health, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, sexual, social, all those different areas. But what it really does is it helps me to stay in alignment with who I say I am. My number one value is integrity. That's my number one value. And part of what that means for me is doing what I say I'm going to do. And so several months ago, I made a commitment to myself. I said that I am going to step my game up and I'm going to average a 90% on my balance chart. That's going to be my average. And so on Sunday, once I posted my 90, I felt great. I felt outstanding, and the reason why I felt outstanding was because I kept that commitment to myself. I stayed in alignment with my top value, integrity. I did what I said I was going to do, and I held that standard, and I hit that 90. And so it felt amazing. And one of the really cool things is that one of the byproducts of hitting a 90% was that I completed 90% of the healthy habits that I've got on my balance chart. That means I was doing a ton of stuff last week to help keep my body and my mind and my spirit in check and healthy. So I was doing different breath work. I was doing things in the aqua building block. I was doing things with flexibility and lengthen. I was hitting the gym. I was looking at my nutrition. I was working on cleansing and detoxing my body. And I was looking at energizing and filling up my tank. And so that's just a byproduct, though, because remember, one of the things that the balance chart does is it really helps to keep you aligned with your commitment. So that's my magic. Anytime that I can do something like play on this tool and have all these byproducts, that's a huge magical moment for me. So I'm sharing that. I actually posted it on Instagram as well. So if you're on Instagram, go check that out. You can see my magical moment in there. And now I invite you, pause the episode. Just hit pause right now. Boop. And think about what your magical moment is. You've got them. You've got so many magical moments, big and small. And so I want you to reflect on them because I want you to acknowledge them and not miss them. It's so easy to feel like life is kicking you in the butt, to feel frustrated, to feel like you don't have options, to feel like you're the victim of circumstance when you aren't taking a moment to acknowledge the magic you're creating. So that's not what we want here, right? We're playing to have it all. We're playing to live abundant, loving lives. That means taking responsibility for everything. And so when you recognize how magical you are, you can get back into remembering, wow, you know what? I'm creating all of this. I'm creating all of this. So let me get intentional about what I want to experience. So hit pause, reflect on your magic, and I want to plug something real quick before we get into the episode. I'm so excited about this. I think that's part of the reason why I'm really hyped up for this episode is I just launched the Having It All swag shop. Yes, I launched the Having It All swag shop where we've got t-shirts and hoodies and long sleeve shirts, all sorts of cool stuff. And I got 3 designs right now. I got the Choose Love, Abundant Loving Life, and Beast Mode. And I've got them in men's cuts and women's cuts and all sorts of colors. And it's just so cool. A long time ago, I surveyed you all and asked you, what do you want more of? And you said more podcast episodes, more downloadable content, and merchandise. And so it took me a minute, but I did it. I launched it, and the quality of the clothing is top notch. It's super, super simple to order, and I'm just excited to see. I'm excited to see photos of you all rocking the gear and just really putting it out there that you are about love, that you are about abundance, that you are about having it all. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So you can go check it out now. It's at MatthewBivens.com/swag, SWAG. And go check it out. It's also on Instagram. There's a link in my bio that'll take you right to the store. And let me know what you think. Send me some feedback. And if you have some ideas, if there's some pieces of clothing that you want or some gear that you want or a design you think will be awesome, let me know. Reach out to me and give me your suggestions. And I would love to create some stuff that you will feel inspired to wear. So check it out again. Swag Shop is open. MatthewBivens.com/swag, SWAG. Okay. Let's get into today's episode because I know you're chomping at the bit to figure out how can you level up your relationships.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
This morning I was reading a book. I've been reading this book for a little while. It's called You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And I was reading through the chapter. I had my highlighter out, and I was just going through and just seeing insight after insight and highlighting stuff like crazy, taking notes. And I got about halfway through the chapter, and I saw that I had already highlighted some sections. Like I had already taken notes. And what that meant is that I had already read that chapter. And in fact, I was like 2 chapters ahead of where I thought I was. And so what was actually really cool about that, and this has inspired today's episode. But what was cool about seeing that I had been rereading the same chapter but having new insights was that on my second read, it was, I was seeing new things. New things were striking me. New passages were speaking to me. New ideas were coming to me, and new ways to take these concepts and bring them to life were hitting my brain. And so that really inspired today's episode because I'm going to share with you an episode that I did over a year ago on the 5 love languages. And if you listened to it back then when it first aired, then I highly encourage you to listen again. Because like me with my book this morning, I guarantee you will pick up something new. You will pick up some new insights this time around. And if this is your first time listening, then get ready because I'm not just going to be sharing with you a powerful practice for leveling up your relationship. I'm actually going to show you how you can really put it to work in a simple and in a practical way. And Sarah and I have been using the 5 love languages concept since the very beginning of our relationship. And what is cool is that back in the beginning, we just went by the book and kind of, figured out our love languages and shared them with one another, and then that was it. But over the years, we've really started to evolve how we use it. We evolve, the way that we approach it, and we make it something that has really come alive in our relationship. And so I'm sharing all of that with you in this episode. It is a great episode. It's one of the most popular ones of all the ones that I've done. So I'm excited for you to take a listen. Let's jump in right now. I want to talk about a love tool right now. It is the book, The 5 Love Languages. If you've been listening to the show for any period of time, you've probably heard me talk about it. I am a huge fan of the book 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It is a really cool, I've used the word tool a lot. It's just a really cool piece of knowledge that when you dig into it and you really start to digest the information, it's so simple, and that's why I love it. And it's this idea that we as people have different ways in which we like to be loved. You can call them languages. And what Gary Chapman has done is he's distilled them down into 5. That there are 5 different love languages. And each of us wants to be loved, wants to be spoken to in our language. But oftentimes what happens in a relationship is I might speak one love language, my partner might speak another love language, I don't know my partner's love language. I'm assuming she speaks mine, so here I am speaking my language to her, and the message is not being received. And now I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, I'm loving on you, but you're not receiving it. And she's getting frustrated because she's saying, you're not loving on me, and it just creates all sorts of breakdown. So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. So each of us enjoy those things in different orders and to different intensities. Some people are like really, really about words of affirmation, and they dig gifts, but just kind of a little bit. Other folks are kind of even across the board. You know, I like all of them about the same. This one might be a little bit higher, but I really like the other ones. So the book is great, and I totally recommend you go and get the book. And I read this book a number of years ago. Sarah read the book as well. And about 4 years ago, we were introduced to their quiz. They have a quiz on the website, 5 Love Languages website, where you answer like 20 or 30 questions, and it will tell you what your love languages are. And so that quiz was huge because, you know, the book gives you all this great information, and you can kind of self-assess where you're at by reading the book. And it's also an interactive book in that, you know, there's questions for you to answer, there's spaces for you to write things in, and it gives you all these great suggestions. I mean, it's a dope book. It really is. I'm flipping through it right now. I should probably go back and read it again. There's not enough creases in the spine of this book, so we haven't read it enough times for it to start falling apart. But the book is great, and the quiz was really awesome. Took it to the next level because now I had a quote-unquote scientific a result that told me, oh, wow, you know, your number one love language right now is physical touch. Oh, boy, I was thinking it was words of affirmation. Huh, interesting. And it gives you a score for each of them. So that quiz takes 5 love languages to another level. However, Sarah and I notched it up. And that's really what I want to kind of share in this episode. It's how to take this awesome tool and really crank it up to 10. Because what we did, and this is cool, we did this, Sarah and I, and it was so effective that I started suggesting it with clients and really urging clients to do it and holding them accountable to do it. And now what I'm getting back in the feedback is how much it's freaking working. And I love that. So what Sarah and I did, we went online, we took the quiz, and we actually took it a couple of times over the years just to, because you change. You might be all about words of service or words of affirmation, acts of service, and then you might switch, and now you're about gifts and you're about this. So we retook it recently, and then once we had our results, we planned a date night. We planned a date night around digging into those results and sharing with one another very, very specific things that we can do to speak each one of our love languages. So it's one thing for me to know, and actually I'm going to pull out my notebook because I wrote everything down. So it's one thing for me to know that Sarah's top love language right now is physical touch and quality time. Both of those got a 9 out of 10 for her. Cool. But you know what? I can look at this, and based off of our date where we really dug in, now I know that Sarah loves to have her shoulders massaged and her feet massaged. That she loves to have her booty smacked. That she loves when I initiate lovemaking. That she really enjoys when we're in the car or we're at dinner and I reach over and I put my hand on her leg or put my hand on the small of her back. She loves physical touch in that specific way. So we notched this whole thing up by getting very, very specific on how we each like to be loved according to our love languages. And that's what I recommend each and every one of you do. Whether or not you're currently in a relationship or not, it doesn't matter. And I'll unpack a little bit why it doesn't matter a little later on. But let me kind of back up and tell you more about this date. So, we had done the love languages about 2 years ago. Boy, maybe it was longer. 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And we revisited our love languages recently. And we were like, we talk about this stuff and we know we're all about it, but I don't really know if these resonate. We went back and looked at them from a few years ago and it didn't resonate. So we decided we're going to do this awesome date night. We'll have Maya be taken care of. And we're going to do the quiz. So we each did the quiz. Then we went out to dinner. And we had a really beautiful dinner. And it was just a lot of great connecting and fun conversation. Then when we came home, we set up some board games on the floor. I think we put on like a Marvel movie in the background and turn the volume low. And while we're playing these games, we're talking about our love language results. She has them up on her phone. I have them up on my phone. And we also have our notebooks next to us. And Sarah went first and just kind of went through, okay, for physical touch, what are some things that I can do? And then she listed, like I just said, massage, kisses, booty smacks, touch in the car, initiating lovemaking. And I'm like, cool. And I'm writing all this stuff down. Awesome. All right, quality time. What do you like? And she says, date nights, unplugged nights, or times when the phones are off. Family fun. She loves dance parties. She wants to go to the park. Meals at the dinner table. We bought a nice dining room table, and she wants to sit down and actually use it without the TV off. Or the TV on, excuse me. She wants to have engaged conversation. Talk about childhood stories. Talk about those inner feelings. Just conversations that have substance. That speaks her quality time love language. So we did that for both of us. And I wrote down all of Sarah's, and then she wrote down all of mine. And then we took our phones and took pictures of the pages. So now I have these in my phone. And what's so amazing is that, first of all, creating a date night around something intimate and important like that, but not urgent, right? It's important, but it's not urgent, and it's very intimate. Like creating that date night and doing that is a huge deposit. It's a huge win just by itself. But now, I mean, I feel like I got cheat codes for the relationship. Like I know exactly what Sarah wants me to do across 5 different dimensions. I have like 5 or 6 examples for each. I mean, there's, 25 to 30 things right now that I can go and love on Sarah, and I know for a fact that it will be received powerfully because she told me, and she has the same thing. So freaking cool. I mean, if you're in a relationship right now and that doesn't excite you to be able to speak your partner's love language and make deposits that they actually receive, then I mean, hey, I don't know what will. And I think back to a relationship that I had in college where I think at the time I really appreciated gifts because I was always trying to gift her with little things. I would try to, whether it was food, whether it was tickets to go to Disney World, just small things, nothing huge. I didn't have tons of money, but like I wanted to do little things like that. And sometimes those gifts weren't received. Or at least the reaction I got wasn't what I was expecting or wanting. And I would get frustrated by it. And it would make me question, well, what's wrong? Why aren't you receiving this? And now with this new understanding and this new paradigm of the love languages, I get it. I wouldn't speak in her love language. She may have been unplugged quality time. And here I am giving her gifts. She appreciates the gifts. It's like, oh, cool, thank you. Like, I appreciate that. But it wasn't registering as a powerful deposit. But if I had said, hey, let's cut the phones off and let's go for a walk and we just talked, oh my gosh, that could have been an amazing deposit. Or maybe I was affirming her, maybe I'm sending all these affirming texts and telling her how beautiful she is and how much I love her and all that stuff and doing what I maybe wanted for myself, but she's not receiving it because she wants physical touch. Right? So like I can think back to relationships where me not knowing this stuff totally screwed me over in that I would give and I would speak my love language to her and then wonder why it's not being received. How many of you are doing that right now? How many of you did that today, this morning? You wanted to love on your partner and they didn't receive it. And so you left heading off to work or going to the store or doing whatever you do, feeling a little frustrated. Like, man, I did all this. I came and brought you coffee. And you just kind of were like, oh, thank you. Here's a potential reason why. You're all speaking different love languages. You're trying to love on her or trying to love on him in your love language. And that's not their top love language. So I believe that when we are in mature, powerful, intimate, connected relationships, we want to understand these things about one another. We don't want there to be any games. Who the hell wants to play games? I got no damn time to play games in my relationship. I have no desire to do that. So instead of just guessing and then being frustrated when you're wrong, let's be proactive. Let's use something like the 5 love languages. Let's use the quiz to get an idea as to how your person that you're with wants to be loved on. And then take that a step further and ask them, give me some examples. I told you before, I feel like I got cheat codes. Seriously, I feel like I can just go in, type in these cheat codes, and now I got all this equipment, I got all these extra gadgets, I can level up so easily because I know exactly what I need to do. There's no guessing. And then if I go and start loving on Sarah and I'm pouring into her and she's not receiving it, I don't got to get frustrated anymore. I don't need to be like, what the hell, what's wrong with you? It's like, no, Matthew, you're not speaking her love languages, man. You're not using the tools. She told you how she wanted to be loved. She told you that, quality time was at the top. But here you are doing acts of service. You're folding the laundry, and you're like, look, I folded the laundry. Shouldn't I get some loving? Shouldn't we go have sex now? I folded the laundry for you. That's what we do. That's what I did. So I'm telling you, take advantage of this. The tool is freaking free. You go to I don't know. I'll type it in real quick. I'll find it out for you guys. All right, this is real time. I'm gonna pause, type into Google to find the website for you. You're gonna hear me clicking around.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Almost got it. All right. 5, the number 5, lovelanguages.com. You go there. Right on the homepage is a big button, Learn Your Love Language. You click it. It's going to ask you for some information, your name, your email, all that stuff. Just do it. Don't worry about getting, I don't want to give my email address out. Whatever. Your relationship is worth giving your email address out. Get over it. Do the damn quiz and learn how to love on your spouse. And now, if you aren't in a relationship, because not everybody is, and that's awesome. That's totally cool. If you're not in a relationship, I still want you to learn your love languages. Why? Because it gives you insight into yourself. This quiz gives you greater understanding into yourself, into how you like to be loved, into what connects with you, into what matters with you. I guarantee that some of these love languages are associated with some of your top values. I guarantee it. Because that's what resonates with you. This quiz, this tool is going to help you understand yourself at a greater level. And even if you aren't in a sexually intimate relationship with somebody, if you don't have a boyfriend or you don't have, a girlfriend or a husband or wife, or whatever, a partner, whatever, you still are in relationship with other people. You still have intimate relationships. You have intimate friendships. You have intimate work relationships. And guess what? Those people are trying to love on you according to your love language as well. So learning your love language is going to benefit yourself because you're going to get a greater sense of understanding of who you are and what matters to you and how to make deposits within your tank. But then you can also take that information and share it with the people that you're close with. Doesn't matter if you're not sleeping with them. We all love to give. And when we have tanks that are overflowing, we want to pour that love onto people. People want to love you. Help them out by knowing exactly how you want to be loved. I said before that I had some clients who I'd shared this stuff with, and it's been awesome. And so I'm not going to use their names. I'm gonna rename them here. But one of my clients, Liz, she took the love language and she got with her husband and just went out to dinner, and they talked all about it. And what's really, really amazing is now she's seeing all these ways that he's making those deposits, that he's loving on her according to her love language. And they feel so much more synced up. She feels so much more connected to him because now the things that he's doing, it's showing her that he cares and that he pays attention and that he's listening. It's such a huge thing when your partner shows you that they love you because they were paying attention to something small that you said. You glanced at something in a store and they went back the next day and picked it up for you and delivered it to you. Spoke your love language of gifts and gave you that thing that you had your eye on. That type of gesture, holy shit. It's happened to me, and it's just like, it just kicks that energy up to 10. It kicks that love up to 10. Your heart swells. That's what she's experiencing. Because they took the time to be mature and proactive in their relationship to go and do this stuff. Instead of just going to dinner, going to a movie, coming home, calling it a night. No, they said, we want to work on our relationship because that's freaking sexy to work on your relationship. And so they took the time, they did the quiz, they made a beautiful date out of it, and now they're loving on each other more. And now guess what happens? That intimacy gets tighter, more deep. You know what I mean? You start connecting more, you start making love more. All those amazing things happen when you speak each other's love language, and Liz is experiencing that. Another client of mine, Andre, he took the quiz by himself. His wife didn't take it, but he took it. And so he has this understanding of himself now. And it's like, oh, wow. And so he shared the results with her. Now she's equipped. And the next step is for her to take it. And so that he now knows her love language. But because he took the quiz and now he's more aware that there are these different love languages, he's now tuning in to hers. He's picking it up. He's picking it up because he recognizes, oh, when I do this, she responds. But when I do that, she doesn't respond. So one of the things that he's tuned into is that one of her love languages is physical touch. And that she likes that to be expressed through massage. So he's been massaging her now. And she's receiving it. And some of the guards are coming down, the walls are coming down to really open up their conversation. Because now he's making deposits that really matter to her. And as your partner gets more and more deposits, guess what happens? Their trust in you builds up. Their vulnerability is allowed to open up. Their defenses come down. That's what happens. And when the defenses come down, now you can have conversations about things that you've been wanting to talk about, wanting to address, but you've been avoiding. Because in the past, you start talking about this thing and it kicks off all these damn fights and nothing goes anywhere. But now, since you've been tuning into them, to their energy, making deposits that they're receiving, the trust goes up, the walls come down. Now you have space. You've created the space to have a powerful and potentially confronting conversation without it going south. That's what Andre's been experiencing, and I love it. Man, I'm so excited for Liz and Andre because they're taking this stuff and they're using it, they're applying it, and they're seeing results in their own ways, and I love it. This shit works. You know, like Gary Chapman is not a freaking rocket scientist genius. He was just curious. Why is it that relationships break down when each person feels like they're doing a whole lot, but they're not getting the love from their partner? Why does that happen? You know, and the things that he uncovered in his work, I mean, it's simple stuff. And it makes so much sense. I like to be loved in certain ways. I'll share with you my top love languages. Right? And what was cool for me, the first time I took this quiz, one of them really stood out. I think it was physical touch was like way above all the others for me. But now when I took it about 3 weeks ago, they're all about the same. Words of affirmation is my number 1, followed by acts of service, my number 2, followed by physical touch, my number 3, followed by quality time, number 4, and gifts, number 5. Now, words of affirmation was a 7 out of 10 for me. Acts of service, physical touch, and quality time were all a 6 out of 10 for me. Gifts was a 5 out of 10. So all 5 of my love languages are within 3 points of each other. 5, 6, or 7. And 3 of them scored all the same. That's fascinating to me. And what's cool for Sarah is now she's like, oh, great, I have all these different love languages that I know you'll receive. Because they're all resonating with you right now. They all mean a lot to you right now. It's amazing. It's awesome. You know? And so some of the words of affirmation that I'm really enjoying is compliments on my body. You know, I've been putting in more reps in the gym and doing things. In the first Trust Challenge, what I committed to was push-ups and squats and pull-ups and mindfulness. But I really wanted to put some love into my body for 30 days. And so I'm digging words of affirmation about my body. I'm also really open to receiving compliments on me as a dad. You know, So whenever Sarah talks about me with Maya, or just, how I'm patient with Maya and all this stuff, I really receive that. And then acts of service, man, I love it. I love it when Sarah does some things around the house that are typically my chores, but she goes ahead and knocks them out for me. It's super cool. I love when I come home from a meeting or from play camp or something and I smell delicious dinner. That is a huge deposit. Food. Oh my gosh. All right, this is for everybody. If anybody wants to get in, just like really touch my heart, send me food. It's so easy. It doesn't have to be elaborate food. I actually don't like fancy food, right? I like just some basic stuff. But food is a huge love language for me. So Sarah knows that she can do that. Physical touch, I love making. I absolutely love it. That's why I get to activate and rep that beast mode and that abundance. One of the things I wrote here, this is great. I've already cursed. This is already an explicit one. But surprise blowjobs, that's in there for sure. Just spring that on me out of nowhere. I love it. In the morning, like if I'm still asleep and Sarah goes under the covers and does her thing, that to me is freaking incredible. It's incredible. And now she doesn't have to guess. I wonder if Matthew likes that. It's like, no. I wrote that shit down. It's right here. Do that, and I'm going to receive it. So that's why I love this stuff. I love it. And, it really is, to me, a sign of a powerful, intentional, mature, aligned relationship, whether it's with a partner or whether it's with yourself. When you're being proactive like that, because it's so easy to just be in our relationships, to just work in the relationship. If you're parents, if you're married, to just go about the business of being parents and the business of being married. Because there's so many things that happen that we can just have our heads down and be in the relationship. But when you're doing something like this, you're working on your relationship. And that's how it goes to the next level. When you're working on your relationship, you're saying to yourself, wow, we're at this level right now. Let's do a couple things and we're going to go to the next tier. If any of you are business folks, you talk about working in the business and working on the business. And expansion and scaling and growth and innovation happens when you're working on the business. Same thing with your relationships. This is such a simple way to work on your relationship. All right, I'm going to end this by addressing something that has come up with Sarah's Balanced Lifestyle Coaching clients, because she too has been working with women, with moms who, are experiencing different things within their relationship, and she has given them the 5 love languages to go and take to their partners, in this case their husbands, and they've received pushback from their husbands. So for any dudes out there, I'm talking to the fellas right now. For any fellas out there who are just like, nah, I'm not really into this stuff. I'm not really. This is for my wife. This is all the emotional things. I'm not really into that. I'm gonna call your ass out right now, because that is some bullshit. All of that. Whenever you say something like that, like I'm not into it, that's a female thing. That's a feminine thing. That's not what men do. That right there tells me that you are freaking scared. You are scared. Something about being vulnerable is scaring the crap out of you. You're afraid of opening up. You're afraid of expressing yourself. And I get it, because I've been there. I've totally been there. But I'll let you know that shit is not sexy at all. When you shut yourself down to that possibility, when your partner, your wife, your girlfriend presents to you something like, let's do a 5 love languages quiz and let's talk about this. And you're like, nah, that's not for me. That's just for, why don't you do it and then you just tell me the results? Guess what? You're doing a double disservice to yourself. First of all, shutting down your partner, shutting down, a goddess when she's wanting to work on your relationship to level it up, that right there is that's taking your relationship down. That's a huge withdrawal. It's a major withdrawal from your partner's tank. That one act right there. But the reason why it's a double disservice is because what you're also telling them when you say no, when you shut that down, you're telling them that you lack the courage to go for it. You lack the courage to go in. You lack the courage to be vulnerable and to be open. And you're telling them that you're fine with playing small. You're fine with being presented with something that makes you feel uncomfortable and falling back back into the shadows and cowering. That's what you're telling them that you want to do. And you mask it with all the stuff about it's a feminine thing. This is an emotional thing. This is a woman thing. The cover of the book is purple. I'm not into that, right? Like that's all the junk the denial you put on top of that ego. That's what that is. I'm telling you, when you open yourself up to that level of just honesty, let's not even call it vulnerability, it's just freaking honesty. You're being honest about how you feel and how you want to be loved. Because I know you want to be loved. Of course you do. You're human and you're in a relationship. You obviously want to be loved. When you open yourself up to just have those conversations, I mean, it's like, I'll say it for like the third time, you're getting the freaking cheat codes to your partner. They're telling you exactly what they want. It cannot be easier, man. Come on, dummy. It can't be easier. You're almost guaranteed to receive a direct benefit from doing it. That looks like them pouring love back into you. Because when you fill their tank up, when you speak their love language, their tank gets filled up. As it gets filled up, they want to share. As it starts to overflow, it's got to go somewhere. They're going to pour that back into you. Guess what that looks like? Looks like surprise blowjobs. It looks like more lovemaking. Looks like them initiating. Looks like all sorts of different things. You benefit from this stuff. So stop being scared and stop masking that fear in whatever sort of chauvinistic junk that you might do. And again, I get it. I probably wasn't going to be open to this stuff years ago. But I'm so open to it now because I know that I'm playing for greatness in my life. And that includes in my relationship. And I know that when I work on my relationship, that's how we level up. And I know that I want a badass woman next to me, an amazing partner with me, so that we can go and create some awesome stuff. So if I'm going to go take a quiz that tells me how I can love on myself more and love on her more, because when I make those deposits into her, she can fully step into that queen space that I know that she is. She can feel loved up. She can feel as valued as I see her. And now she's open to doing some big things with me. Hell fucking yeah. Let's go. I really enjoy when the topic that I'm talking about gets me into this space. It's cool. I'm standing up right now like I feel like I'm on a stage or something. This stuff is real and it's awesome and it's beautiful and it's confronting and I love it. So I really do encourage every single one of you listening right now, go and check out the 5 love languages. You could probably get a copy on Amazon for like $1 used. It's fine. Go and check out the book. Go and take the quiz. Do it for yourself. If you are in a relationship, bring your partner along. Highly, highly encourage you bring your partner along. If you're experiencing resistance, just play them the last 10 minutes of this episode. And let's just get to creating these abundant, loving lives that I know you're here for. I know you're about that. I know you want that. It happens when we do things like this. It happens when we take initiative, when we become responsible for what we're creating, when you become responsible for the outcome of your relationship. That's when you can really grab that thing by the reins and then go. Lead it where you want to go. Whew. All right. I love this. I'm about to go hold down the fort at a Tuesday night play camp. Get a lot of deposits from people who are showing up for themselves. I love it. So thank you for creating the space for me to deliver this message and to really get myself energized to go and now pour some energy onto other people. And the way that you've been doing that is that you show up and you listen to the show. And I know that when I hit publish, so many people are going to listen to this. That is amazing for me. So thank you to you. I am grateful. I am super grateful. All right. I'm out this pizzle. My name is Matthew Bivens. Here's to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.